there's always something new to learn. Here in Rogue Kitchen, we learn by playing with our food. Hello, everyone. Today is a Rogue Kitchen special edition. We are going to talk about the Day of Giving. And in Day of Giving, we're going to be discussing 3 of our projects we are raising money for. Jimmy, what are those 3 projects? So the 3 projects that we're raising funds for go directly to students. So the first one is going to be the Chef Beckwith Memorial Scholarship, honoring the late Chef Beckwith. The second one we're going to talk about is our Student Travel Fund. We're always trying to build up that student travel fund because it's so important for our students to be able to either go to conferences, do study abroad, even conferences here locally, and getting them out and about in the industry, meeting with professionals. And then the third one, we got a special guest. We're going to have Jackson Lamb in to talk about the scholarship that he set up for students in hospitality. So first one, Chef Beckwith's. You worked with Chef Beckwith. I worked with Chef Beckwith. I was a student of Chef Beckwith's. I wasn't a student, but I worked directly alongside of him, and he was great. Like, the best thing about him was he cared so much about students. He was so passionate about everything he did in the kitchen. He was passionate about the food. He was passionate about service. He was, and service to the students too. Absolutely. He was always there. He was always mentoring students. And if any students out there see this, that we're along with him, please, come say hi to us. Check in with us. If you want to donate, go ahead and do that. But today we're going to honor him by producing one of his recipes that we still use. We still stay in class and in our workshops, in our baking workshops that we do with the community. It's another way to engage with us. If you want to do a workshop, let us know. But yeah, so let's kick it off and let's make this focaccia. Yes, the focaccia bread was one of his favorites that he did. Did it in baking. We also did it in food preparation science years ago. Like you said, we do it in our baking workshops as well. And it's us foolproof. Like, it is. I don't think I've ever messed it up. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. And I do mess up recipes. Yeah, no, I definitely do. And baking is one of those where I'm not that proficient at it, but just is definitely one that I can do, feel very comfortable in doing it. So also before we go, before we proceed with this, we actually have 2 special guests today. Yes. Do have Chef Dr. Jennifer Watson. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. To talk about her study abroad as well. So can't wait to have those 2 wonderful people joining us here in just a little bit. So focaccia. We make focaccia using a sponge. Okay, so a sponge, we're going to take warm water here. Like a sponge or like a dish sponge? No, like a dough sponge. You have a sponge that can be made and used the day of. Okay, whereas like a poulish is something that you ferment overnight. Okay, we're making baguettes right now, and so we use the poulish for that. And then we have a starter, which is something that you grow over time. You take away, you feed. Okay, I used to work at a bakery. We called it feeding the baby. Okay, so
or feeding the beast. I've heard that.
Feeding the beast as well, yes. But so those are kind of your 3 types of leavening agents when it comes to yeast. Okay, so along with this, then, okay, so we have our warm water here, about 110 degrees. Okay, Chef Beckwith was very particular about his temperature of water.
He'd always temp it too.
He would temp it, and I temp this water prior to.
Ashley temped it for us. We know it's up to.
It's temp as well. Enough. All right, so now I'm going to take our yeast here. Okay, we're going to put that on top of there.
Now, what kind of yeast is this?
This is dry yeast. Okay, so you can use dry yeast. And again, this is a manufactured yeast where, like a starter is just kind of the yeast that you use from the air around you. Okay, so we're gonna mix this up, let this bloom for a few minutes. Okay, and we have this very fruity, yeasty smell right now.
I love the smell of yeast.
I do too, especially when he hits that water. It has a wonderful smell in it. Okay, so to this, we're going to add extra virgin olive oil here. Okay, this is going to add some fat to our focaccia later on, which makes it nice and tender. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and add our flour. Okay, now it's bread flour is what we're using here, and we're just going to mix it up. Okay, mix it up by hand here. All right, don't be afraid to get in there
Okay, we want to mix up all the lumps, right? We do not want any lumps in there.
It's really loose. Like if you want to show.
It is very, very, very loose. Let me get all the lumps out of here. Okay, so it's very wet, very loose. It almost looks like cornbread batter or something, like a muffin batter, right? But this is a dough. Okay, well, this is a starter. This is not the dough. Okay,
The sponge.
sorry, the sponge. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. All right, now we're gonna let this proof in our proof box. Okay, if you make this at home, you can certainly put it in a warm place, covered with plastic wrap. Okay, we're gonna do this until it about doubles in size.
Through the magic of television.
There it is. Woohoo! Okay. Here we have our sponge. Okay, it kind of looks like a sponge. All those little pores in there. Is that about right there? Is that good? Okay. Now to this.
Now this looks like it's like I see why it says sponge.
Yes, spongy. All right. All the little gas bubbles in there. It's okay.
And how long is it until it gets to this point?
Perfect temperatures about 30 minutes. It might take an hour or something
it's
a
a
little
little
bit
cold.
Correct.
Like today.
Correct. Yes, for sure today. Okay. All right. So then from here, pardon me, I need to measure out some water here for 1 second. And, turn on my scale here.
Because it's more accurate.
Yeah. I'm using grams here. Okay. So here. Let me pour a little bit of this water out here.
So
Perfect. There we go.
the second amount of water here.
Yeah, so second amount of
198
water,
grams.
198 grams here. Okay. Some people might say, well, why don't you post the recipe? Come take our workshop and we'll share the recipe with you. Okay. So to this entire sponge, I'm going to add our temp water, again, 110 degrees. Okay.
Precisely.
I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil here. Okay. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt. Okay. Now the salt will kind of tame the yeast a little bit. Okay. Salt will kill yeast. All right. But that just kind of tames it just a little bit there. Also adds flavor. Okay.
Kind of dampen the growth a little bit so it doesn't blow up like crazy.
Blow up all over the place. Correct. Okay. Now here we're going to add our flour straight in. Okay. And then again, we're going to go ahead and mix this all up. Okay. You don't really want to over mix this. Not like, this isn't like a sourdough, or something like that where you want to.
Yeah, you're not building a lot of structure.
Yeah, we're not
Just
really
gonna go in
building
a
a lot.
pan.
Right. And this is not something that, we're not going to kind
Probably
of
be pretty
full
light,
pan.
kind of like fall apart in your mouth a little bit.
Yeah, it's supposed to be very crispy, very tender.
But the important part to make it crispy is that oil or that large container of oil right there.
Yes, it is. That is definitely the.
It's kind of like a Detroit pan pizza where you're kind of frying it. in
Right.
the
Yeah,
pan.
a little bit. Yeah, that's how. I remember Pizza Hut pizza. It's
Oh, yeah.
Detroit.
Yes.
Similar to Detroit pizza there. So, all right. So we're just gonna make sure that we mix this.
It's kind of a shaggy
Still-
dough.
Yeah. All right. So we mix it a little bit there. It's been a little bit more than a little bit. Okay. Like so. All right. Now we're going to pop this into the proof box here. Okay. And we're going to wait. We're going to, no, let me back up. We're going to put this into an oiled pan. Then you put it in the proof box. Okay. Let me show you kind of this process here. You got that? Beautiful.
Yep.
Okay. Now, you want to be fairly generous with this oil. Okay. There is no, 2, 3, 4 tablespoons, right? You want to be fairly generous with it.
Make sure you're well coated.
Yep. Right. All around.
Once you put the dough up, it'll kind of come up around the edges.
Yeah. Okay. And you want to get, you want to coat the sides here really, really well. Okay. Now, we're going to put this into our pan here. Now this dough will kind of fight you a little bit. Okay, so you kind of have to
It's
push
full
it.
tight right now.
Yeah,
Once we proof it, it'll loosen up a little bit.
yeah, and this is one of the reasons why you don't really knead this dough a lot, because If you do, then it will really fight you, and it'll be really tough.
I think this is the important part. Using your fingers to push down so you have all the little nooks and crannies.
Yep.
And then as it proofs, they kind of come together. But when you go to cut it eventually, it has all that depth to it. And it gets a little more, there's more space for more texture, more
And
surface
that's kind
area.
of it's kind of the main characteristic of focaccia is it has those dimples in it. Okay,
that
so
yeast
here.
from that olive oil smells so
Oh,
good.
it does smell great. So from here, okay, we're going to proof this in the oven, in the proof box. Okay, again, proofing at home, someplace warm, until it doubles in size or until it fills that pan. Okay, and then from there, see, this is actually kind of great too, because we're going to go ahead.
More oil.
Yeah, you can do this after it bakes, or you can do it before, after it proofs, or you can do it before as well. Put some more olive oil on it here.
Swimming.
Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my glove off here so I don't clump up our salt. Now I'm using some flake salt here. I think this is French gray.
So it looks like
Sea
gray
salt.
sea salt.
You can certainly just use kosher if you'd like.
Now, Don's like you want kind of the big crystals though, because
You do. You want to
when you bite into that top, you want like that crunch of salt.
Yeah. And here we're just putting rosemary. You can use any herbs, caramelized onions. You can even put sliced potatoes on top. All right.
Chopped up prosciutto.
Chopped up prosciutto.
olives,
Guanciale. Oh, that would be delicious.
sun-dried tomatoes.
There. All right. So we're going to let this proof.
Guanciale with you.
I love guanciale. It's one of my favorite things.
It's so good.
We're going to let this proof until doubled in size. Then we bake it. Okay. We bake it at 400 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. When it comes out, we have this beautiful focaccia here with all the little nooks and crannies. We have the salt. We have that very crispy texture on there. All right. We have that wonderful rosemary on top. We take that, break it apart, dip it in some olive oil and vinegar, or cut it in half and make sandwiches out of it. That, one of David Beckwith's best recipes right there. So with that,
Let's take a little quick break.
let's take a little quick break.
And we're going to get Chef Watson in here and talk about student travel, study abroad, maybe make some potatoes, I hear.
We've got a traditional Irish dish here coming here in a little bit. So
Yeah.
we'll check that out.
See you in a second.
And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest with us here, Chef Jennifer Watson. Chef, how are we doing today?
Doing great, thanks.
Great. So glad you could join us today. Chef Watson is going to tell us, number one, about Colcannon potatoes and about her travel abroad to Ireland. Chef Watson, tell us first about Colcannon potatoes. What do we have here?
So Colcannon potatoes are a traditional dish served in Ireland because these are foods that are available year round. We've got potatoes, which we all know are very famous in Ireland. We've got greens. In this case, we've got kale today. And then we have dairy, literally the fat of the land in Ireland. We've got milk, and we've got, this time we're using it, it's infused with chives. And then we have some butter actually that we made in one of my classes.
Oh, nice.
So
Beautiful.
these are all going to go in together, and it'd be a nice hot side dish. Can be a filling meal by itself, maybe with a poached egg on top or something
Yum.
like that. Or with St. Patrick's Day coming up, might
Sure.
be good to go with corned beef as well.
Excellent.
Now, you said this time we're going to use kale. What other greens can you use?
You could use cabbage. A traditional cabbage can go with it. You could use different types of kale. And sometimes you could do things like leeks as well.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that'd be yummy. Leeks would be really, really yummy. I tell you what, let's go ahead and go through that. Fix up your dish, and while you're doing that, we'll talk to you at the same time.
Sounds
Sound
great.
like something you can do?
Sounds great to me.
Great. So, Chef, you've been to Ireland before, haven't you?
I have actually. I got the chance to go last summer and visit Cork, Ireland, which is basically the breadbasket of Ireland. They do a lot of food production there, and I learned about farm to table. And the whole time I was there, all I could think of is I would love to bring my students here and show them all the cool things they're doing with sustainability, with farm to table cooking, and with traditional foodways.
And that really inspired you then to create this travel abroad program.
Correct.
We are trying to raise funds for. So give us some ideas of what maybe a day in the life, maybe just like one day, that maybe a student would experience while they're in Cork Island.
Okay, so we're going to be staying, for example, at the University College Cork on campus. They have a great farm-to-table dining program there. So we're going to go look at the main rest, which is what they call their main dining hall. We're going to get to eat the foods. And then we're actually going to go and tour the farm where they grow the vegetables that they serve on campus.
Imagine that. We grow our food here. Wouldn't that be something, you know?
It would be great. They have a much longer growing season in Ireland than we do here in Colorado, so it's easier for them to do that. And also, their university is very supportive of sustainability efforts, so they really try to support any efforts to bring in local foods, different types of greens, local dairy, local meats, all those types of things.
Very good. So if students were interested in this travel abroad to Ireland, how would they find out information? And would they contact you, or we're going to have a link today for this?
We'll make sure that there's a link in the comments or the description somewhere to sign up. Students, we're hoping they can sign up for the program, and they can also email me for more information. So we're going to be going this summer. We're going in June, so it's coming up quick.
Yeah.
But we hope lots of students can join us. We also hope this is one of a whole series of study abroads as we move on, and that our Student Travel Fund can help support lots of different places they could go.
Definitely. You know, study abroad, especially related to hospitality and food, will be a great learning experience for students.
Last year we had students go to Italy, to Perugia, had 2 classes there in beverage, beer and spirits, and I forget the other one, but the students that went there had such a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video actually through the Alumni Association too that shows about their experience too, and about our student travel project that we're working on.
Good.
So this is coming along. I'll just
is
keep
our
spinning.
potato mill? Our potato mill is quite old over there.
Maybe this should be its own project.
It could be its own project. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just
New
need $50 for a new a food mill. No, I'm going. I got it.
Okay. So something else we're going to be doing in Ireland is we're hoping to go cook at the Ballymaloo Cookery School, which was started about 35 years ago. And actually, the founder of that cookery school is Darina Allen. She's one of the most famous cooks in Ireland. She had cooking shows. She has cooking cookbooks, and she actually has just become an affiliate lecturer, affiliate instructor at the University College Cork for their food studies program. I'm hoping that to take our students there to go cook for a day at Ballymaloo. They have amazing gardens. They bring in all of their own produce from the gardens, and then they cook it in the kitchens. This is actually her recipe for colcannon. Colcannon I learned from Professor at Cork that I got to meet last summer. The colcannon is actually traditionally eaten at Halloween. And so they eat Halloween. They eat it at Halloween, and oftentimes they'll hide something in the potatoes, almost like a fortune telling type thing, like a king cake.
Yeah.
But instead it's with the potatoes, and it could be like a ring or a coin, and it's supposed to be things like fortune in the good year, things like that. So, but colcannon I learned was eaten at Halloween, a Halloween food that's not candy.
Interesting.
Maybe we should bring that
We should
to the States.
Like that, so.
I think my neighbor would be mad if I just drop a potato in their bag.
Maybe if you fried it first, they'd be okay with it.
Okay. Some french fries, some tots.
Certainly don't want to take a really big
enough.
bite.
I think we could show an example with this much right here,
Okay,
right?
that sounds
And that's
great.
kind of the beauty of this recipe, or just like potato recipes. We can work with what we got.
That's it.
Absolutely. So we've got our mashed potatoes. We throw in some butter, of course. This is like of course,
Gotta have the butter.
Irish butter if you can get it. It's absolutely amazing. We're going to go see the Butter Museum.
Oh,
They have a butter museum.
Butter museum.
There is a butter museum in Cork. We're going to go see that.
Yeah.
So the butter is unsalted, and so are the potatoes. So I added in a nice generous pinch of salt to get started, little pepper, and then to thin them down, I've got my hot milk that has chives, a little bit at a time. Mix it in, and then we'll add some of the cooked kale on top.
I love potatoes. I was just talking about that this weekend with some friends. We had a big potato bar,
Oh yeah.
and
Excellent.
I just love
Potatoes are excellent. Very, very good.
Very versatile. They last a long time. I've got Yukon Golds in here and a russet, but when you go to the grocery stores in Ireland, They have a dozen kinds of potatoes.
Really?
And when they have pink ones, they have queens, they've got different seasonal potatoes, and they all use them for different things.
Like the flesh is pink?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. A
On the
little
inside, too. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Cool.
And so they have floury ones and waxy ones and different things that they use for different types of dishes. This one was supposed to be a floury potato, but after reading the recipe, I've never seen those varieties here.
Huh.
So
I know. Yeah, we need to expand our variety here.
So that's part of the fun of studying abroad, right? You get to see things that
Yeah.
are just a little bit
Sure.
different.
Yeah.
And so when I was there, I got to go to the grocery stores, and even just your regular major chain grocery store had the names of the farms and the towns where all the ingredients came from, and stories about who the farmers are and how the food got to your table. So I'm hoping to share that with my students through my class, but also I know a lot of other professors would love to show students what's out beyond the world of Colorado and the United States. So
Absolutely.
this is our finished Coal Cannon.
Beautiful. Looks nice.
So,
Fluffy,
nice.
smooth, and
Just
Rich.
waiting for that guancale you were talking
I know,
about.
right?
Yeah. I'll go grab
Oh. Yeah, grab a bowl, maybe a couple of spoons too, so we can
Give it a taste.
give it a taste there.
See how it is. So the earthiness of the kale should taste really great with the richness of the potatoes and the cream. But we'll taste it. We'll make sure the salt is correct and the flavorings. If we need to add a little more cream, loosen it up, we'll do that too. But we'll give it a try at this point.
Excellent.
Here you go.
Put that in there.
I've made this for my kids, and it's kind of great because it gets the greens in there. Although my kids, they like kale.
Do
But, yeah.
Let's try that one.
My kids are weird. They like vegetables.
Mine too.
Except for one. She doesn't like tomatoes. But
they? Yeah.
My
she likes
little kid.
cooked tomatoes.
Yeah,
Cooked
exactly.
tomatoes?
She
Okay.
likes cooked tomatoes.
Very good. Well.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I think I just found my lunch. Thanks.
Oh, man. Delicious.
Excellent.
Very
All right,
good.
well, thanks for joining us. Tell us a
Yeah,
little
thank
about
you.
this trip.
Absolutely.
For those of you out there, if you donate to this project, it goes to our student travel fund, which helps student travel to places like Ireland, Italy, and even just to a conference down in the Springs, perhaps. And just really helping them get out, see the world beyond what we have right here, and allowing us to give them those opportunities to just get out there and see the world.
Sounds perfect.
Excellent. Sounds great. Well, again, Chef Watson, thank you so much for joining us today. In just a few minutes, we'll have Chef Jackson Lamb joining us. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our last guest today, Professor Emeritus Jackson Lamb. Jackson, how are you doing today?
Jason, it's always a pleasure to be in the house.
It certainly is. Jackson was one of my instructors and a mentor, later a colleague and still a mentor. And a mentor when he was my colleague and is still one of my mentors. Jimmy, I'm sure you could say the same thing.
Yeah, I had a class with you back in 2006. Remember when we toured all around Denver and went to the convention center, the Coors Field, Red Rocks?
Applied
That was one of
hotel,
the greatest classes ever.
applied hotel restaurant operations.
Yeah, it was
Let's
great.
go check it out.
So that is the lasting impression on that you have had on both of us, and I'm sure it's for students, past students even. You've had a long-lasting impression on them, and so your scholarship then can really help future students who unfortunately may never know who the real Jackson Lamb is, but.
Well, they'll always know who Jackson is.
But they will always know who Jackson is. And we will always pass on your legacy as well. So tell us about your scholarship and kind of what's all involved with that and kind of maybe some ideal candidates for the scholarship.
Before we get into that,
Okay.
Jason, I want to just tell everybody watching that, with Metro State University, there was a big push many years ago to get a designation from the federal government to be a Hispanic Serving Institute. Jason was one of the students that accompanied me on a culinary trip down to Oaxaca, Mexico. We were involved in a Pan-American competition. We were the only school represented from the United States. We had chefs there from multiple schools in Mexico, but also Colombia, Peru, Brazil, Uruguay. So we really have had some great adventures together, but that's what this school is all about. So that leads me to the Hospitality Scholarship in my name, the Jackson Lamb Endowed Hospitality Scholarship. I put the scholarship together because, Well, I'll tell you the truth. This is my town. I live here. I've been here for 40 years. I'm not going anywhere. And because of that, this is my school, and I care about it. And so when I see the opportunities that we created for students in the past, like Jason, I want to continue to operate and make those opportunities available. So with the Jackson Lamb Hospitality Scholarship, to be honest with you, to get a scholarship going, it takes a lot of money just to put that in the bank, and we only work off of the interest. So right now, we've got enough contributions that we're giving away only one scholarship a year, but the recipients so far after 2 years have been tremendous. I've got one student, the first recipient, Alexis. She is a dual major. She is a meeting and events major as well as a sports management major. She got a job with the Broncos. So there's something that really has a positive influence from what we're doing here at MSU. Our second candidate is Sergio, and Sergio is a freshman, came from Westminster High School, has dreams of starting a food truck, and is currently working in our restaurant here, Degree, which is in the Hospitality Learning Center. So with that in mind, if you could consider contributing to the Jackson Lamb Scholarship Fund. You'll get the link later on. Jason will lead you towards that. All right. So Jason, I'll throw it back to you. What else do we want to talk about?
Well, I think, definitely trying to beef up that scholarships. We can get more students, and help them through school, and help them get their education that they really want. The story about Alexis is really cool. Being in sports management and being a part of an organization like the Denver Broncos. A lot of students want to be part of a sports franchise of some sort. And I think having
you had an opportunity to go work with the Broncos too.
Well, individual players, but I was able to kind of meet different people within the organization, and it's a really, it was a great opportunity. And that was actually through MSU Denver that I was able to get that. So there are a lot of great opportunities here, and we just need to keep providing those opportunities and helping students achieve those opportunities as well. And I think the Jackson Lamb Scholarship would certainly be a great way to do that, along with the David Beckwith Scholarship as well. And while students are in school, they can do the travel abroad in there. Chef Watson, come on in here and join us for the very end here. That way, there's all these opportunities for our students and for MSU Denver students to continue their education and to make their education a very valuable and strong education.
Yeah. And that's what these projects are really about, allowing us to continue to provide these students with these opportunities, whether it's studying abroad or student travel, or just them getting scholarships and being able to go home and have a little bit extra cash in their pocket to buy a meal and be able to concentrate on the incredible amount of homework that they get sometimes. Again, just like providing them with those opportunities. So thanks again for joining us on this. Any last words from anybody?
I would like to add about the Bronco experience. For a number of years, I put together with some local chefs the Taste of the Broncos.
Yeah.
Boy, that really got our students involved. Taste of the Broncos. This would normally be off season. This would be at Invesco Field, but the Broncos players would show up. Season ticket holders would show up. There'd be about a dozen or so restaurants handling food. So when we try to create these experiences for our students to get exposed to various components in the food and beverage industry, we need your help in doing that as well. We need your contacts, we need your financing, we need your connection. Help us here at MSU. Back to you, Jason.
Very good. Well, I think that sums it all up right there. So thank you all very much. Professor Emeritus Lamb, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chef Jennifer Watson, thank you so much for being here. Jimmy, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And thank you all very much
And with that, happy day of giving.